In this video, we're going to unbox the Synology S923 Plus. I've been wanting to get a NAS for a while now to organize all my photos and videos for my home personal use, as well as for business, for YouTube videos as well. So if you're something interested in that, we're going to open it. We're going to put the hard drives in. We're going to open the software on the computer, and you're going to experience kind of what to expect, because I know on the website and on Synology, it's kind of hard to see. So I opened one of these last week. I'm going to open one today and just give you a full experience of what to expect to set up your Synology. And then in further videos, I'll go through some other instructions, but specifically with Synology Photos and Synology Drive, it's what we're gonna kind of focus on today. My Synology showed up the other day. It looks pretty good. It's a nice compact size, 4-bay one. I wanted 4-bay so I could expand. So I bought two 12 terabyte hard drives. They came through here. I'm from Canada and I bought it through Newegg. So you can buy your stuff through there. I know it's harder to buy on other platforms. I think I saw it on Amazon. The reason why I went with Synology was because of the apps that they have on their website. So Synology Photos, I really wanted to replace Google Photos. So we're gonna go through kind of what the main reason why we did that for Google Photos and Google Drive. Those are like the things I'm using now, which I'd want to switch over to the Synology NAS. So this is the NAS right now. So first thing I do is I'm gonna open this drive section here. And if you have a hard drive that you check that's compatible, I have a Iron Wolf NAS 12 terabyte. All you have to do is just make sure that you can see the ports there, make sure that they line up down there. So that's kind of where it is. So I'm gonna put it into the bay so it's appropriate. So I'm gonna put it in like that. Take these little pins out on the side and you can place your drive in. So right again, this is kind of how this works. This is just, yeah. So I'm gonna place it in like this. And you'll do this for all your drives. Just make sure that that is snug there. And then you will put back these pins on the side. Until it's snug. So that's snug on that side. Then over here, I'm gonna grab that, and then that's good. Just make sure everything's working, and you will slide your hard drive in here, and you will wait till it clicks. So I made a nice sound. We're gonna do that for the second drive. If you have 4 drives, you'll do this for the whole thing. Now you don't have to put any screws in, so it does come with screws with the package, but that's only for the 2.5, like the SSD attachment that you want for this thing. So now you have this in. I'll put a link in the description for these hard drives. They worked on the one I used before, but you can also use the Synology ones that they have. So I pushed it in. You also have an option to lock the bays, but I decided not to because I don't need to at this point, but in the future, you do have 2 keys that you can actually lock in place there. You got 2 spots there where you can lock the keys in. So that's an option for you if you want. So now you get 2 boxes here for some extra information from your Synology. So in here, you have your adapter. Then you have some Ethernet ports. And you have your keys. You wouldn't want to lose these, but those are the keys that you put in here. You now have your quick installation guide, but if you're watching this video, you're probably watching this instead of this, but this will also help you as well. And you have some of these screws if you have a different hard drive option. And then in this box, you just have the extra cord to connect to the adapter. So I've connected this, so now I'm gonna just plug this in. And now I'm just going to plug this in. So now I can power on the NAS. And you can see that it starts blinking. So I just connected my NAS to the internet port. So now it is connected to my internet. So I do find.synology.com. And now what happens is it starts searching for the device. And you have to go through all the terms, say you've agreed to them, you go next, you read the privacy statement, press continue. So now that's really how easy it is to install your NAS. So now all I have to do is press install, and there's going to be some options here. So I'm going to automatically download the latest version from the Synology website. I'm not going to pick one that's on my drive. So now they have the option here when you're uploading this disk station manager to your Synology is you have the NAS hard drives in there. Everything's going to be deleted on there when you install it. So you just have to understand that. So if you have anything on those hard drives beforehand, make sure to get those off because that would be very unfortunate. So now it's going to install the disk station manager. So you just have to wait for it to install. So essentially it's installing some software onto the NAS so you can connect to it on the internet. So it's pretty cool. So now we have the next generation DSM 7.1 and we're going to start. So click start. You're going to call the device a name and the administrator account number. I'm going to make my own password here. And then you could have this option for allow the Synology NAS to be displayed in Web Assistant. Synology will collect the IP address and port information, which will only be used for providing Web Assistant service. And then you can see kind of what data collection disclosure Synology has. I'm going to select that. And then you have some options here for setting up and updating your NAS. So right now I'm going to go with this, automatically install, import DSM and package updates only. This is the recommended one. That's just what I chose to do. These other options, notify me or automatically install the latest DMS. So I just wanted the important ones in case they updated something that was crappy and it ruined everything. So that's what I went with. Now you have some options here. I'm going to create a Synology account as well. That's just so I can connect to other stuff. So now you have a few more options. I do want this around the clock monitoring and protection. I want to be notified if anything happens to the NAS where I need to get a new hard drive to be able to protect it. And then I'm gonna look at this to back the DSM configuration as well. This is the disk station manager. So you're kind of connected to everything here. So first thing we're gonna do is to create a storage pool. And so this is really, you have your drives. How do you want to keep your backups? Do you want to have RAID? Do you want to have no RAID? Do you want to do like a shared hybrid version? So I have two to start. So I decided to go with this SHR. So right now, everything is going to be on one drive. It's going to be duplicated to my other hard drive. So if one disk fails, I can just grab it from the other one. And then as I build out this 4-bay NAS, I will be able to, this SHR RAID version has options to expand. So that's kind of why I'm going with that to start. So I'm selecting both of these. So I did check in these hard drives, these Iron Wolf ones worked. It also was working smoothly when I tested it. So just wanted to make sure that you check that. And then you can do a drive check to automatically reconfigure a drive. So this kind of reduces the risk of data access errors. So I'm gonna perform it, but it does take a little bit longer. And then you have an option here. You can kind of see how much you want to allocate for this storage pool. I want to max it out. So that is that. And then I'm going to take the recommended. I don't know much about this, but this is kind of what I'm taking. Everything's going to be erased on these hard drives. I'm aware I have nothing on them. So you can see on this bottom right side, you can automatically see the health and kind of the CPU and the RAM of your device. I'm going to take a quick tour. You can kind of look through some stuff. So I want to stay ahead of problems. I want to have an email and I want to enable that. So if anything happens, then some email will get pushed. So I'm going to do that and sign myself in. It's going to send through my Gmail to emails you select. So the sender is going to be my email I set up there, and then the prefix is whatever you want. So you can add up to 3 people to send these information to. For me right now, I'm just going to send it to myself. And I'm going to send a welcome message just to make sure that I got it. So I have my email there. You can have a mobile device, but I don't have a proper SMS sending, so that's good. I can now access my NAS from anywhere, and you can do some two-factor authentication. So I'm going to enable that. I am going to do the two-factor authentication in here. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to enable that, so I'm gonna download an OTP authentic, one of these authentic apps. So I have one with Google, I can get the one with Synology as well, and now my two-factor authentication is good. So this really keeps the security a little bit better. And I'm gonna put up a backup email, which is the email I have for my NAS. So in case I lose my phone and I can't have that two-factor authentication, I can have a backup email. I have my two-factor authentication set up for myself, so I'm happy about that. Then we can store and manage data. So I'm gonna create shared folders. So what I wanna do is to have a shared folder. So if I want to share something with someone else on my NAS, I can have a folder where everyone can view it. So I'm gonna create these shared folders. I'm gonna create one. And I'm going to enable my recycling bin, and I'm not going to encrypt it now because I need to look into it. So I am going to not enable that, and now this is kind of my shared folder I've created, and I'm going to give access to myself, and I'm going to create some more applications later. So I'm going to apply that. Now I have a folder. So in here you can go to your file station. You can see that there's a shared folder. So the next thing I want to do is to connect to the application. So you go to this package center, and for me, we'll get started with Synology Photos right away because that's something I really like. So we're gonna install that onto our Synology NAS. And this is just the main reason really why I switched, because I use Google Photos for everything, and I kept running out of storage. They kept wanting me to pay a monthly subscription, and then I also have this YouTube channel on the side. It's like, well, it doesn't make sense for me to have cloud with Google because I have way more data than what's needed. So this gave me the option to have my Google Photos and also store all my stuff for YouTube videos as well as my client work so I don't lose it, as well as make sure that I have it saved properly so I don't accidentally lose it on a random hard drive. So we'll get that set up, and now I can open my Synology Photos. And now we'll quickly just get welcomed in here. I want to enable the people's faces, and then I'm good. So I'm gonna start. I got it. So now in here, I also want to enable shared spaces. So this creates a photo folder where you can invite other people on the account to collaborate. So I want to enable people album in the shared space, and I want to allow permissions for people. So I will check that. I will add myself to this folder, and I will add myself. So I added myself, and I'm going to do mobile backup here. And save it. So now you can switch between personal and shared. You go to my file station. You have some options in here now. So what I created is my own home. So I have my photos in here. Homes is the admin persons who can access everyone's home. So when you create a home base, every account has a home base. And then when I created a shared photo album, this photo album here is the shared photo section. So if I want to share anything in there, that's kind of where I do that. So I have a few shared ones. Right now, we have this is a shared folder and this is a shared folder. And then this is my own personal one where I can start adding more stuff to my NAS. Okay, so now since we got the Synology Photos app working on here, as you can see, we have Synology Photos here. You can click and you can get access to your Synology Photos. We're gonna learn how to back up Synology Photos onto your iPhone and see how that looks, just so you guys can get an awareness and kind of what to expect when you're comparing Synology Photos to, say, Google Photos, and see if it's something that you're worth buying this NAS and kind of storing photos yourself. So I have it on my desktop here, Synology Photos, and I have it on my phone. So I did log in, I created an account. Now if you look here, and I'm gonna sign out here. I just wanna make sure it's clear because it is a little confusing when you first start. You have your Quick Connect ID, and that's something you created at the beginning. So you can find that on the control panel, the external access, you can see what the quick connect ID is. So if you go to control panel, external access, you can find, I created mine this. So now when I go onto my app here, we can see that there's a quick connect ID. So I'm going to match that. And then the account is the account that you created for yourself. So in control panel, I can go to users and groups. So I created my own self. So the account is just my name. So I'll put that in there. And then obviously the password that you associated with it is your password. And now I'm logged in. I'm gonna go into the Synology Photos. As you can see, we already have the shared space. So what I'm gonna do is, for my phone, I want that on my personal, but if you are a couple and you want all your photos together all the time, it's kind of nice to put it into a shared space. So for myself, I'm going to have my own photos and then share the ones that I want into a shared space later on. So I'm gonna enable photo backup, and I'm going to back up all my photos, and then you can see there's a backup destination folder. So you can see there's a personal space and a shared space. So if I go back in here and I go to my shared folder, or if I go into File Station, you can see that I have my home. So there's home, homes, photos, and then I created another shared folder. So now homes has everyone's account, and everyone's account has a home inside of there. But anyways, as you can see, this photo is outside. So this is the photo sharing folder for the NAS. So anything in there is going to be in the shared section. So I'm going to make sure that I put it for now for my phone into the Synology Photos section. So I'm going to go my personal space, and there's two things. So if you customize it, all the photos just get thrown into a folder. If you do the normal backup and you just do default folder, it goes in by year and month. So if you want to have it automatically make folders for you, that's a way to do it. Sometimes I find that annoying because then you got to go through all these folders to organize everything right. And it's like, say you have like something where you're on a trip and you're going from the end of a month to the next month, then you're gonna have to go through 2 different folders. So I was just gonna go for my phones, just throw everything in there for my phone. And then on my other stuff where I'm taking photos and stuff, I'm gonna organize it a little bit better, but this will be my iPhone backup. So I'm gonna do personal space, I'm gonna customize the folder, I'm gonna create a folder and just do Matthew's iPhone 13. So I'll do that, and now I've created a folder, so I press done. So now everything is gonna be pushed into that folder, and then I go back, and then there's some options here where you can upload it with Wi-Fi only or photos only. So I'm gonna do just Wi-Fi only, I want photos, and then for duplicates, I want to skip them. So I'm gonna enable and access photos to everything and enable notifications. And now I'm just going to wait. I have 6,000 photos in here, so I'm just going to put it into sleep time backup and back up all my photos that way. So I have 6,000 to go, and I'm just gonna wait it out, and this is good for my mobile backup. So now, as you can see here on the file station, I can go to photos, and you can see Matthew's iPhone 13 is there, and you can see the photos are already getting thrown into there. If I open one, we'll see what it is. You can already see the photos that are there. The next thing that we'll do is we will open up the Synology Drive. In here, I have Package Center. I'm going to open up Drive. So there is Synology Drive server. I'm going to install that. Now it's installed. So you can go back to your users and groups. You can go to Matthew. Now you can see your applications here, and you can see all the applications, Synology Photos and Synology Drive are there. I'm going to allow everything and save. So now we can do the same thing. We can open up Synology Drive, and I should have access to it now. And this is my Synology office, so you can see the photos that are in there, Matthew's iPhone, and you can see all the photos getting thrown into there. So that's kind of cool. My drive, this is kind of the relative to Google Drive. So this is a nice alternative because you get to store all the data yourself. So now we will go to my Synology Drive, and we will connect to my NAS and put in my username or my account number, which is just the username that you make when you create a user, and my password is what I set. Then I'll get my two-factor authentication because I set that up. Put that in, and then I'm logging in. And I'll set that up later. So now you can see that my drive is now connected. So now I can see everything on my NAS. And right now I just have the photos set up, and you can scroll through them all that way. You can filter in here so you can see dates. You can do a modified time. So you can search from like that, or a creation time. So that's kind of cool. So that's kind of how I've gotten started with my Synology NAS. It's really cool. There's a lot of potential. I'm going to be connecting it to my Windows 10, putting up a folder, making sure that's there. And then I'm going to kind of just keep rolling with it and use this as my main hub for my YouTube videos, for my content creation videos that I use for clients, as well as storing my personal photos and videos, because that's really important to me. I want to have all my photos stored. I want to have it organized, because as we get into more of this data everywhere era, I want to be able to control my own data and to be able to expand it as my needs grow bigger. So I like kind of having my own here. So it might not be for everyone, but the reason why I picked Synology is because they had the apps. So it kind of created something for a user who's not super tech savvy, but someone who wants to store my own data, but also be able to view it really easily. This kind of solves my problems. I'm gonna see how I like it. I'm hoping to be really pleased with it, but also so far I've been really enjoying it. This setup's been super easy, so I hope this kind of helped you understand what to expect when you're getting this NAS and to see if it's worth buying. So I'll put a link in the description below. If you guys want to pick one up, let me know if you did, and let me know if you really enjoyed using the NAS. I'll be creating some more videos about how to use it and different functionalities about it. But there's my kind of unboxing of it, and to kind of get you a first peek of kind of what to expect when you buy one. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.